Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. I'm JJ and I'll be speaking to you today on the third episode of causes of disease. So in the previous ones, I've covered the germ theory, we've covered chemicals, EMF, excess, mineral deficiencies in your body and in what you are taking in. Then stimulants as well, microorganisms, we've looked at fungus as well, molds, bacterias. I'll look at a few other ones now. So for today, I'm going to start with GMOs. So GMOs are manipulated natural plants. So it's a little different to when you are selecting. So if you are selecting a fruit or a grain, you select the best one, you keep seeds from it and you plant it again and again and again until you get really good quality, big, juicy, sweet, fresh produce. So that is selecting for the best. GMO is different. It goes into the DNA, changes the DNA, inserts other properties or chemicals or herbicides, pesticides, growth hormones. So they add things into the DNA matrix of the plant to make it more pest resistant or to make it drought tolerant or to change it in some way or to make it have more yield. So GMOs is manipulating and changing and entering and changing and doing things to the actual plant DNA so that it's not really actually the same plant. So our bodies cannot recognize that, and we are getting produce that is not of the quality and of the kind that our body recognizes. So that's why we are getting more allergies to things like soy and wheat and even things like eggs and dairy. So those are allergies that have come from the manipulation and the changing of the actual DNA and adding in a lot of hormones to the animals too. So that's the next one that I want to talk about is the pharmaceutical industry, both in animals and in people. In animals, pharmaceuticals are rampant. They are used so widely and so much that it's not actually safe to consume animal products anymore because of all the pharmaceuticals that go into it. Then into our own bodies, when we put pharmaceuticals into our own bodies, it also causes damage because it treats the symptoms instead of the cause. The cause does not go away, so you still have the problem, the pain or the symptom is just taken away. For example, if you have a headache, you take some aspirin or something that takes away your headache, ibuprofen. What caused the headache is still there, you just don't feel it. So you have the increased chance of making it worse by continuing your everyday life. These little signs like a headache, like a fever, like ache or pain somewhere, that's our bodies telling us something is out of balance. Please help me, please put it back into balance. So we need to listen to these subtle signs that our bodies are giving us and not just dampen them or throw them away with or like cover them with pharmaceuticals. You need your body to feel things so that you can help it to return it back into that balance. And especially antibiotics are very harmful. I read a study the other day that said that it takes 4 years for your gut bacteria to recover from a bout of antibiotics. So that's a very, very long time. On a plant-based diet and rigorous trying to increase your intake of probiotics and prebiotics, symbiotics, that will make the process quicker, but it can take up to 4 years for your gut microbiome to recover from an antibiotic dose. You can check out my other videos on the microbiome and why it's so important. It has effects all over your body. So mineral deficiencies are also really important because the soil is becoming deficient in minerals. People generally just add 3 things, NPK, whereas the soil microbiome is made up of more than 60 elements. all of the things in the periodic table, plants need every one of those in different amounts to be healthy. If you are just adding 3 elements instead of the 40 or 60 that they need, then there's going to be a problem that the plants are not going to be healthy. So they've, to this date, they've found that 42 essential elements that plants need to actually grow. So you need to add all of these things in for your plants to grow healthy and strong. You also need microbes, so living things in the soil. You need bacteria, you need fungus, you need the protozoa, you need the organisms, you need the worms, you need all of these things there in the soil. Then you also need the bigger animals to control the smaller animals, and so on and so on. So that's why you need the whole circle of life. You need the whole ecology to be functioning to have a healthy soil, and you need a mixture of plants to have your soil healthy as well. For example, weeds only return about 20% of the energy or the nutrients back to the soil, whereas shrubs and trees return 80% of the nutrients they get from sun and water. They return into the soil. So you need a variety of plants to increase the health of your soil. So you need soil health for healthy plants, for micronutrient-rich food. So if the soil is depleted of microorganisms and minerals, the produce will be deficient in minerals. So this is another really important one, and it's important in preventing disease, and it could also be a cause of disease. So as you see, there are numerous things that can cause disease. It's not only germs, it's not only the germ theory, which the whole pharmaceutical business is built on. It's killing organisms, killing germs, killing bacteria, pathogens. That are not the only things that cause disease. There are many other things, but disease is mainly caused by an imbalance. If you bring back that balance, then you will be healthy and you will not have a problem. It's the same with plants. If your soil is balanced and healthy, the plant will be healthy and balanced, and pests will not attack it. Pests are there to return damaged plants to the earth to try and fertilize and heal the soil. So the same way in our bodies, when we get sick, it's our body's way of trying to restore that balance, bring back that balance, so that our bodies are back in a homeostatic plane, that it's not out of sync or out of kilter, out of balance. Your body wants balance. So it's really important to have balance. Things that bring back balance are things like mushrooms. They are modulators. They help your immune system, especially to balance. It doesn't, when it's overstimulated, the mushrooms can bring it back, and chaga is one of the best at this, to really bring that balance back into your life. And it's important to include a lot of fresh green leaves and vegetables, which bring in a lot of the minerals which serve your body in an enzyme capacity and to complete many of the functions that your body needs. So it's important to have lots and lots of green leafy veg, along with your fruit, along with your grain and your seeds and your nuts, which bring in the other vitamins and the lipids and the carbohydrates and the proteins that you need. You don't need to have animal products to get your protein. That is a myth. You don't need as much protein. If you're eating one steak, you've exceeded your protein allowance for that day, most probably. You don't need that much protein. That is going to put too much stress on your kidneys, because all of that nitrogen and acidity needs to come out. So we need to move our bodies to a more alkaline state, and that is brought about by fruit and vegetables, the ancient grains and the nuts and the seeds. So we see this as well from a biblical perspective that is written about a lot. And we look at the Eden diet, and just after the Eden diet, it's all fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains. So the meat only came in later, and there was a rapid decrease in life expectancy. We see that in the world today as well. Plant-based communities have a higher life expectancy and a lower debilitating disease score than omnivores or carnivores, as there are some around now, which are just growing disease. So I hope you found this interesting. This was the last and the third installment of the causes of disease. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, stay healthy and to God be the glory.